Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go into the charts. So Bitcoin getting a little bit of a rejection off of the 706 diagonal pitch fan we've had price in for over a year, coming back to that point of control to close out the weekly candle close, possibly at this level. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that weekly level looks like. We got an hour's time for that to close. We will be bidding you adieu at that time. Looks like it will be a spinning top doji just above that level. So let's go ahead and look at the liquidity. What is the liquidity? Will people lock that liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss? And we get to see where those crispy characters are. So let's do it now. In the last 24 hours, 11 million in longs and 2.9 million in shorts liquidated on BTC.
Fatality.
And of course, the same for Ethereum, Sol, Ordi, and others. You have a lot of other alts getting people playing ball in the alts on low liquidity weekend. Not a wise idea. In the last 12 hours, you have some for XRP, a 600k long on XRP, and in the last 4 hours, you have a 5.89 million long on ETH liquidated. Let's go ahead and take a look at the heat map and see where the liquidity lies. In the last 3 days, we just went to liquidate these 200 million down there. They came to grab. There is some more up at that 43.5 region we were looking at. And let's go ahead and expand to see where we can continue lower. 41.6, 387 million to sweep the lows. Coming up to the highs, you have at 43.9, 289 million. If you start to expand this to the higher time frame, you do see that that expands to 491 million at 44 even. We were talking about that $1 billion mark on the 6-month time frame here. 2.03 billion at 43.9. So there is a large amount up at that 44.199 mark, 1.34 billion. So do we start to put in a low here? 1.3 at 41.7, 41.6. You got another billion, so you got 2 billion down there, and then a large amount on the upside. Do we start to make it to that 45k mark? That is the question. Let's go ahead and look at it in a different light over here. So let's go ahead and make this the weekly. So we went and swept those lows down in the nether regions here. Now starting to get some thicker band up here. 43.572 has a spike of liquidity up in that region. 43.568, 334 million. So let's go take a look at the charts and begin our analysis. Shout out to everyone watching. Yo, 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 yo. What's up, Dingo and Steven? How's it going? Okay, so starting to make our descent through the time frames. Wouldn't really change a thing about the math, but essentially we were looking at the 706 trapdoor. If it gets permission granted to go up, it goes up. If it gets permission denied, it drops fast. So that dropping fast at the trapdoor 706 level was what we were circling. Here's the circle from last time, 42.953, and sure enough, boom, drops from that point. Access denied to the upside. We're looking at that possibility of coming beneath it and seeing how we reacted off of that level, which is why we have that circle. If not, you're coming to possibly the 236 down at 41.9, and we just went over why with the liquidity. Time to throw on the momentum and see where things lie. Link in the description for more. And you can scroll down to features, toggle everything at your leisure. Seeing at Bitcoin's bottom at 15k before we knew it was a bottom at with the trend cloud, the baseline, stochastic array with the rocket ships, and more dynamic alerts to your phone. So let's go ahead and take a look. Starting with the 3-day. So the 3-day closing in a day's time. So you have basically the end of false move Monday, February 5th will be putting you at another 3-day candle close. Do we close above this baseline and start to make our ascent, or are we going to start to treat this as a bearish retest to come lower? Previously we had bounced off of the cloud here on Monday, January 22nd, to make a little bit of a bounce off the 3-day time frame after previously talking about this cross down event. So far it's been just sideways since that time. We haven't really seen a retrace, unlike in April of last year where we had an 18% retrace off the cross down, or in July when we had another 18% on that cross down event. So this leads me to that pre-halving retrace idea, something to look at. Rect Capital on X to see what that's about. But do we have some sort of pre-halving retrace idea to come down to these levels, 36, 34 and below? That could still be on the table. Watch out for that. Coming to the daily. So the daily, we have yet to get above this cloud. We were talking about the potential of this cloud shifting, has yet to shift or close a daily candle above that level. So this is being treated so far as a bearish retest, failure to get above the cloud and coming back beneath the point of control on this daily time frame. Let's go ahead and adjust that over, sliding, and the daily oscillator gassed on the stochastic, money flow RSI at even Steven levels. The Williams trying to prop up with some upwards momentum for the stochastic to go higher. Potentially could do this at the point of control, at an inflection point with the point of control here. If we close in a manner that holds nearby it, it could still insinuate higher prices. Let's go to the 22. 22 and the 12-hour cloud were flat, and it was starting to stay flat in this manner here as we held since Monday of last week. This has been a sideways week for the last 7 days, up in this range, up at that 42.9 region. And so we are also getting a cross down event of the 22-hour time frame. Does this mean this was from basically yesterday? We had this cross down event, and are we starting to make our way down to the cloud? The 236 is your guide for continuation ideas. Money flow, even Steven levels, no insinuation either way there, but the Williams getting the cross down event for possible acceleration and suppression to the downside on the 22. All right, so a little bit of bearishness on the 22-hour. Coming to the 12-hour cloud, also sideways. 12 hours starting to go for a hard reset instead of holding the 50 level. Money flow, RSI, even Steven levels, possible suppression with the Williams here on the 12. Slightly bearish on the 12. 22 and 12 are slightly bearish. If you come to the 6-hour, money flow above the RSI, suggesting that the fatigue of the money flow can reject this 50 level and come lower on the 6 as well. Whoops. Coming to that 6-hour baseline, also crossed down and seeing this steady suppression ever since. Coming to the 4-hour time frame. So the 4-hour had a bit of a fake out with cross up, cross down, cross up, cross down on the 4-hour time frame, but failing this cloud as of that 7:06 level of Sunday evening my time. So that failure to hold the cloud, and right at the 7:06 it said gave up the ghost and head lower. This is why we circled that level. It's not a coincidence that it happened right there at 42,953. That's just what it does on these projections. If there's too much leverage and open interest, and we can check that here. So there is 3.261 billion in open interest. So having this flush all the way down to 3 billion was what it did last time it flushed. So they could flush some of the open interest. The net shorts are opening up here too. So there is interest in the shorts and the long liquidations on both sides. So they're hitting both sides of liquidity here. 4-hour time frame coming lower on the stochastic. Money flow beneath the RSI still could come lower. Williams at a ambiguous level, so the 4-hour is slightly ambiguous. Coming to the hourly also holding at a random ambiguous level here at 36. Could come a little bit lower. Would not make sense to hold. There is no key level here in this range. Essentially, if we took a impulse from this region, it came down to that 786 of this 42,260 region and bounced out from there. So if you played the Fibonacci retrace level, that was a interesting level, but where we're at currently is no man's land, and we've been in this middle of the range for that entire time here for the last 9 days. So this is not a place to do anything. You wait till the external range here, coming to the top to short or the bottom to long. So that 786 bounce could have given you a little bit of a reaction. We're going to go ahead and delete this. Okay, and the hourly time frame, also possibly suppression here. There's ambiguous, so basically ambiguous on the 1 and the 4 hour. On the 6 and the 12 and the 22, slightly bearish. So overall looking to continue to the downside here on this path that it's taking. You have basically 45 minutes for the daily candle to close. We're closing beneath a certain level here. If we go to our other oscillators here, the weekly candle closes alongside that as well. So we were saying, even if you come up to these levels, you could be looking at a fair retracement for that pre-halving idea. The weekly candle being that we did close a bearish candle between that 382 level here, and then we closed out a bullish one within that 382 here. So this meant that going to the upside for a possible retrace, only to eventually kick it back at that 44.2. So our line in the sand is kind of thinking about 44K. How does it, if it comes up to 44K, how does it react off of this level and recovering of this wick? You have the 618 reaction from this previous retrace zone from that 48.5 region. Do we come up and recover the wick now, or are we going to just stop out some shorts and come lower for that pre-halving level? We have a basic idea here that we could come down to that 32K region in this gap zone here. There is that large amount of liquidity that we could come get as well. Let's go ahead and analyze the total market cap here. If you have any questions, now's the time to throw it in so we can get to it in a timely manner. I have to take my son to school. So I was also looking at this idea, the rejection of the cloud. I put that out there back last Friday, actually, on the 2nd, talking about us possibly coming lower, respecting this 236 of this bearish trend-based fib level. Does the total market cap kick us lower? Just a thought that I was throwing out there, and seeing this rejection off of the cloud. It's very similar to what Bitcoin is doing right now too. And if we look at the total three also rejecting off that daily cloud. Are we going to get that acceleration from the 7 level and come a little bit lower here, or not? Looking at Dixie getting a little bit of a push up to the upside. We were looking at it when it was up here, possibly coming to sweep and recover the wick, which it did, and then started to make its intent known. So it looks like it's now sweeping the buy side and possibly coming up into this region. If the draw is to this level up here for the daily time frame, then you could be seeing some basically drawdown for Bitcoin, because it is inversely related as the DXY goes up. If you look at the NQ, NQ previously had some push up as the Apple Vision Pro and Meta and some other stocks gave it a little bit of a bounce the other day. Are we going to see a push up into the all-time high region at 17.8 and beyond? Currently opening up with a little bit of a push, could retrace back down into something. False move Monday, setting the range and the low for potential for the week. If we go ahead and throw on this analysis for NQ. So basically the potential to come down to the 600s for a bounce off that point of control from the other day, and then possibly go higher if it wants to confirm as support. We'll see how London handles it for the Monday. You have the point of control down here at 538 as well for the entire range here. Let's go ahead and analyze this with BTC and the points of control. We basically held in this entire range. So a level down here at that 42,156 area. So you have some high volume down here from Thursday, February 1st. We already went down, kind of bounced off of it with that 786 play. Another point of control down here at 41,767. We already kind of played around with it over here on the 29th. If you fail that level at 41,767, then basically it's down into this level at the 39K or possibly the 40K region. All right, let's go see if you have any questions, comments, anything of the like. And what's up, CNC? Hey, 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 yo, yo, yo. So basically false move Monday, putting in the low for the week, possibly as pardon me, as the Dixie starts to rise here and possibly aim at this, targeting the external range here. Came down lower in the end of the week and starting to break out of this channel and possibly go into the highs, which insinuates downside continuation for BTC as they are inversely related. So This could mean you come and break this 236 and come lower. We just analyzed the point of controls for this range down here. Personally, I'd like to see it come. I would have liked to have seen it come up to 44K and fatigue itself out on the shorts to give a little bit more acceleration to this downside. I don't like the slow bleed style shorts. I don't want to sit there biting my fingernails about it. I'd like to see it more accelerate direct out of that range. So if it had gone up to 44K, you know, on Friday, like we were saying, then it would have been a nicer opportunity to look at fading it over the weekend. But Bitcoin does what it does randomly, and it likes to hold these random ranges for 9 days to bore people out of coming into the charts, and then it does it after. So are we going to see this acceleration at the 706 level? Was that it for the entry of that short? All right, so a little bit ambiguous on the 4-hour hourly, and the 6/12/22 showing a bit of a downside potential with this money flow above the RSI and the 6. The MACD coming into the Williams domain for that insinuation of acceleration. On the 12, you have this possible continuation of the stochastic and cross down of the Williams to watch out for, and the 22 already crossed and possibly seeing acceleration on the 22 with the cross down of the baseline, and the daily time frame rejection off the cloud and trading with the cloud says to possibly come lower. The one saving grace is the Williams looking to prop up the daily time frame on the daily, but that's about it. All right, so that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. If I had to hold myself to the flame about this, I would say that it's going to come down a little bit further and test the 236 again. Let's go ahead and look at the liquidity one last time. Yeah, so you have basically up to that 43.5, you have a nice little chunk of liquidity, 300 million, 43.5. You got 200 million down to 41.7, slightly closer to recover some to the upside than the downside. Did you already take what you were going to take here on that time frame? Going to the higher time frame is where you start to see the draws. 41.7, 1.63 billion, as opposed to the 2 billion to the 43.9 region, 44 billion, another 2 billion. So there is more to the upside. So do we get a bounce at some point to go to that 44K? So do we put in a low for the week and start to make our way up into this 44K region? All right, let's go ahead and take a look. What's up? Total 3 also getting that bearish suppression on that 236 level. Actually, that's not, that is the bullish trend base fib 706 level we're at right now. Do we start to break this cloud on the 12-hour time frame for the alts, getting that cross down event for the baselines and the Williams, and the baseline cross down potential over that acceleration? So overall, looking to see lower prices for BTC. You have that break of the point of control. and that acceleration down to the 236 and potential cloud kiss at 41.4. So we'll see. Does it come down, recover some of this liquidity at 41.7, and on the higher time frame 1.63 billion at 41.7, or not? That is the question. You got that cross down event of the 12-hour, not easily negated, so we'll see. Last cross up of the 12-hour brought us all the way up to that range from 39k up to 43k. So does this bring us down a ways, 4.5% away to that 40k super trend? Do we see some acceleration to the downside? So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, folks. So thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thanks for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same, bringing the fire, the action,